Wheel of Time. Time again to wander. Time again for a blunder, a wandering stroll down the fissures of existence. Life happens in the cracks, mostly. I have cracked many times over the past years. I am the shell of an egg that was handled roughly. Only what happens to an egg that never cracks? It remains sealed from the world. It stays an egg and never sprouts any life. It is time to leave the shell, I must have said one day. I must have known that some things were about to happen, or needed to happen, for I contributed to their happening, their coming about, their coming of age, coming of age. I came of age. I am time, and I am age. I am aging, raging, storming like the ocean. I am a wheel that is ever turning, yearning, mourning. I am strangled by ropes of desire, and yet it is desire that pulls me over the edge of myself. I am lost in an ocean of bliss. Without bliss, I would have no interest in life at all. It is time to march to my own destruction, to take, yes, muster, all my strength and smash in those walls of mine, those constricting walls, those safekeepers, those stranglers, those masters, those whip wielders. So I take the time, I aim, and the impact of my hammer makes a crack in my concept of time. I look at it, and something in me goes mental. An expression, a mentality to push everything that is new into a corner labeled strange. I call it marvelous. I call it worth chasing. I call it torturous, wonderful life. I call it the chaos of existence and sprinkle it with enough wisdom to keep it from getting boring. Old men in stuffed offices looking into microscopes would have nothing to do at all if life wasn't chaotic. If chaos did not surround us, I would have had nothing to play with. I close my door, and I open my eyes, and I capture what lies on the inside. One day I said, "It is time! It is time! It is time to shatter these walls of mine. It is time to lay it all to waste, to take it apart and look at it. It is time to turn myself inside out and outside in and discover what lies truly in the depth of myself." I found no bottom. I am time, and time again I discovered that there is no end to my discoveries. I was alone in my room and full to the brim with new discoveries. I opened the gates to hell, or so it seemed, and I realized that hell is nothing but fear. A place created by people that are afraid. Afraid to live, afraid to doubt, afraid to challenge their own beliefs. Afraid to take a step outside in a new world and afraid to leave their shell. A shell of beliefs and opinions and judgmental contraptions designed to control what cannot be controlled. To control life is like controlling death. It is time to die in order to fully live. The part of me that wanted to do what it did, used to do, had to die. It was holding me back. I cannot write what I wrote, but I can write what I write. What I feel like writing at the time that I write it. If I try to recreate the times that are past, I am stuck. The wheel of time is ever turning, ever yearning, ever seeking for new constellations to recreate itself with. The wheel is turning, whether you want it or not. The wheel is yearning, whether you want it or not. The wheel is beckoning you into the chase. The chase for truth and meaning, and it will take time to chase. To chase what cannot be found in the distance, for distance is always one step away. To chase what cannot be held by the intellect, for the intellect does not feel. The intellect creates concepts of emotions and what it means to feel, but it does not truly feel. To feel means to suffer. To feel means to hate. To feel means to fear and to shout and to cry. To feel means to fall down a well and scramble out the best you can. To feel means to give in to the chance of getting hurt. To feel means to open up to the possibilities of love. You have to move on. You have to grasp life with both hands and seize it. Seize the bickering and thrust your hammer into the walls. My hammer was my mind, and I started to take apart everything that I knew I was, and discovered the things that were kept secret from me. The things I forgot because nobody ever reminded me of them, until I did. Until I did. The wheel of time was turning, and as it turned, it brought me to the places of my youth. And it brought me to places nobody I knew ever talked about. It brought me to places that were seemingly gone but reshaped themselves into new experiences. They turned and turned and turned, and as I kept tumbling alongside this wheel of time of mine, I realized that I was no longer the same. People had treated me the same, but I wasn't. I had to shout at them to make them realize that I had changed. We had changed. Everybody was holding on to the past, their past, for fear of losing themselves. I learned that you have nothing to lose if the reality of what you thought you were never existed. If the reality of what you hold on to is nothing but a well in the distance, out of reach, you will slowly dry out. You will reject any notion of finding water, for finding water would mean reaching for it, going there. To cling to youth and life is the best way to never live. Clinging to life is like holding on to the last apple and seeing it rot, instead of enjoying it while it is still fresh. The wheel of time makes sure to continue, and nothing we do can stop that. Time is life, not strings in a watch. You can live according to the wheels that people put into watches and clocks to manage time, but time cannot be managed. Time stretches itself out and contracts like a wave, pushing and pulling. It changes when you meditate and when you suffer. It does all kinds of things. Time is different from the outer regions of the wheel to the inner regions of it. Time is something that you have been given to make the most of, not to waste it by looking for stuff that is lost. You may find things in you every day and seize your luck and countless opportunities again and again. You see one person coming and another one going, and it hurts and it is painful. The wheel of time is merciless in a way, but also full of mercy. It gives you enough time to take for the things that you cherish while you are here. Whether you can see opportunities is up to you. Whether you sense when the time has come to let go, to move on or to change is also up to you. You can see time unfold if you start looking. Time does what time does. Move on. Continue. Slow, fast, ever on, ever chasing the next moment. Ever staying busy, doing things. Watching things come and go and die and live. You could stand on the outskirts of time and cling to the past. You could do that and never realize that who you are lies at the center. Who you are lies at the bottom of the well. If you stand in the middle of a wheel, you can see everything. When you cling to the edge of the wheel, you chance being thrown off, and the center is something in the distance. You could try to get there, and you would succeed if you only had the time. Do you have the time? Can you make time? Take time?